Hi, my name's Ben from UTF Australia, here to talk about our universal trailer range. Our universal trailers are quite unique to the Australian market, where we're trying to make a trailer that does as many uses as possible. So instead of being pigeonholed to one particular use for each trailer that you own, we're trying to make a trailer that has three configurations in the one build, so that you really can eliminate a few of the trailers or trucks that you have alternatively. We also have a huge focus on strength. As you can see by our build, I'll walk you through the features that we focus on, so that these trailers really are made to withstand the Australian conditions and be used for a long time. I'll start by walking through the three configurations that I was talking about. So as this trailer sits here, it really is set up for carting sheep or chemical and general freight. So you could be doing a load of sheep, and then the way that these hurdles work, there's 4 pins holding in each hurdle. And so that allows you to hinge that hurdle open, otherwise can take it completely off as well. And these drop downs will just drop down when you're forking something in from the side. So if you were carting chemical for a little while or just general freight, you could just take this middle sliding gate out as well that's there for the sheet. That middle sliding gate is important for a trailer this size, so that you know that you always have half your weight forward and half your weight backwards. You also have at the back, you have the option to have a swinging gate at the back as well. So that would be more relevant if you were carting the general freight, gives you the ability to load from the back as well. So everything can be brought down to tray level. Alternatively, you can use a trailer just to drop down sides with this configuration. So with the drop down sides, we supply a short stub post as well, which allows it to look like more just your tray back sides the full way around. So the front headboard's removable as well. So this particular size is 4.5 metres long in the tray. So with a 4.5 metre tray and a 1.5 metre drawbar, you really can put a metre through to your A-frame and have half a metre at the back, and that way you're fully legal for carting 6 metre lengths of steel. This particular model here is one of our triaxles. We are a huge fan of triaxles here at Universal. Obviously not for everyone. The smaller sizes too, the tandem's obviously ideal. But having 6 wheels on the ground does make a big difference to the way that the trailer tows. And it also a lot less weight per tyre as well. You'll see with I'll just bring your attention down to these spring hangers. We're welding our spring hangers to a bit of 10mm flat as well. So that way we're not welding directly to the RHS. It also allows us to get a full weld around because you don't want to be welding across the RHS. We also weld all the pins to make sure that they don't turn, so there's no chance of the hole ovaling out over time. All of our suspension is on the heavier side. These axles are rated to 2 tonne each, so as a triaxle trailer you really have more than 6 tonne running gear, which this can easily be rated up to 4.5 tonne without changing the chassis. It's really just the coupling and the chains go to a heavy duty high tensile spring lift chain. So yeah, the chassis itself is one piece. It runs from the coupling right to the back as a 150 by 50 by 4mm piece of RHS, and we hot dip the chassis beams and the checker plate before they're welded. That alleviates the possibility of the chassis twisting, and it also, traditionally trailers that are hot dipped after welding, you'll get that warp through the checker plate or wells. So hot dipping before it's welded means that it can be straightened as it's welded, so you don't have that problem where you're having wells in the checker plate. A big design feature of ours too is that we have the main chassis beams running directly underneath the tray, which is a little bit different as well. A lot of the time the bearers run across the tray, and that encourages that weld that I was talking about in the checker plate when you've got a heavier plant or machinery driving along the checker plate. A lot of the chassis beam on a standard size trailer is 1250mm wide. So with most of your bobcats or plant, that part of your wheelbase will pick up that main chassis beam. I'll just take your attention to the back of the trailer. You'll see that our pivot point is also quite close to the back. That way when you're tipping up material, the tray is not dipping down into the material as it tips up. Part of the reason that we don't like going over 3.7 with a 3.7 metres in the tray with more than a tandem, I'll show you, with anything but a triaxle, is that we're trying to keep down that rear overhang. If you had a 4 metre tray or bigger, that rear overhang starts to creep out. So yeah, that triaxle for a 4 metre, 4.5 and 5 metre sizes alleviates that problem. So at the back of the tray here, you can see that we're recessing all the lights into the in from the RHS. Obviously, it doesn't make it impossible to hit the lights, but it certainly does protect the lights from reversing hits. The way that we mount our spare tyres is just slid underneath the back here. So it's just a nice, easy open centre latch to release those. As we come further around the tray, we can see that we have a full-length tie-down rail. This is a 32 OD pipe. You can see that the tyres are actually recessed in 90mm from the side of the tray, and that allows us to have that full-length pipe that I was talking about, so we don't have a cutout above the tyre. We run a 235 15 R15 tyre. This allows us to keep the tray height just above 810mm, which obviously keeps your centre of gravity lower. Some of the alternative configurations we have are what we call the chemical sides, which have a vertical post. With the chemical sides, if you go a 500mm chemical side, so that's 500mm from the tray to the top of the chemical side, we can just keep our standard tray height. When we go to the 670mm chemical side, which you need for S7 chemicals, we have to increase the tray height by 50mm. And that's as simple as us putting instead of where the riser is in the chassis, we're just increasing the height of that. So it is very simple to do for us, but it does increase the tray height slightly, which obviously that centre of gravity what I was talking about, we're just trying to keep that as low as possible. But that extra 50mm just allows the 670mm chemical gate to swing right down without touching the ground once it's fully loaded. Everything, as you can see, is heavy duty and easy to use. So these drop-down latches are actually holding that post in. So that way there's no grub screws on the post. So that way if you are loading from the side and you want to load something in the middle of the tray, this post can come straight out and be put back in once everything's loaded up. Especially in WA, most people are familiar with these drop-down latches. So these are just as simple as releasing like this. And obviously you have the adjustment of the thread there too. So if that spring loses compression over time, that can simply be adjusted inwards. And these are the pins that I was talking about. So these are, you can see that the pipe on these posts is welded on the outside of the lugs of the hurdle itself, and that way the gate can't jump. We are in the process of testing some new pins, which we have given to some clients, and we've had some great feedback from these new pins. These will have a spring-loaded clip in the pin, so that way it'll be simple as pushing that clip inwards and the pin will come out. And it just alleviates the chance of that pin ever working itself out, which isn't so much a problem if there's no weight on the side, but it's more of a problem if there is a heavy ratchet strap on the side. If the pin does jump at all, it can't release itself and come back down. So that's a problem that we've identified, and that's the development of that sprung clip has been seems to be a very successful solution. That sort of wraps up the general overview of our trailers. There is numerous extra options that we can add. One of the most popular options that people have been adding is the Bluetooth brakes, which has been extremely popular over the last couple of years. If a client is looking at towing the trailer with 1 to 2 vehicles, we still encourage them to go the hardwired option. Or if they don't change their vehicles over regularly, it's still viable to go that way. But the Bluetooth options just created an alternative for clients that have multiple vehicles using the trailer, and they don't want to have to wire up every single vehicle with that module in the vehicle. So the Bluetooth brakes have certainly changed that. New utes we are seeing are coming out with the electric brakes fitted in the vehicle, which is great to see, especially if they're sold as a 3.5 tonne towing vehicle. But this is certainly a great alternative, and we've certainly seen that it has been popular. That can be controlled by your smartphone, but there is also a lot of people that are opting to go the remote, and particularly for people that aren't overly au fait with smartphones, the remote's just a very user-friendly option. So that's certainly a good alternative. The other one that we are encouraging people to opt for, if they go the tipping option, I'll just bring you to the front of our trailer. This one here is fitted with the headboard storage boxes. If you go for the tipping option, you can see inside the toolbox here, there isn't a lot of room for any storage. the battery and the power pack are taking up most of the room there, and we don't want to, we encourage people not to put any ratchets around these terminals, otherwise you will have a problem with the battery arcing out. Whilst we are in this box, you can see that there is a lot of cord here, so that the remote itself can be pulled away, so that if you are tipping something out, you can walk away from the trailer and see what's been tipped out from the back. That there also has a plug, which I use myself. I have young children, so I disable that plug when I'm not using the tipping option, and it just saves children playing with the up and down switch, because we do have latches either side of the tray, and if those latches aren't released, you can damage the chassis. They are very strong. The power pack or the tipping option is very simple. It's just a single action ram, so gravity force downwards, and the way that we design our ram, the pivot point at the top of the ram is designed to be behind the pivot points on the chassis, and that way as the ram comes down, it is folding upwards, which means that the axle is the lowest point. Pictures that you'll see later on our website, you'll see that there is quite a substantial V-bracing in front of the ram, and that's the reason that that's put there, so that the chassis itself doesn't want to close in on itself. One of our most recent changes, we've shifted the breakaway box from being on the inside of the A-frame, being mounted underneath the tray. So this protects it from the weather, but also protects it from stone chips. We did have a little bit of feedback that there was some stone chips coming up underneath and just damaging the bottom of that box, so that certainly alleviated that problem. Another recent change has been our jockey wheel and swivel. We have been using this jockey wheel for a little while, when it's been excellent for us. The latest change has been this swivel, which there has been a couple of changes along the way, but the turntable swivel alleviates the problem that most bolted on swivels would have, where the jockey wheel wants to splay outwards, and it also stops the swivel itself wanting to pinch inwards on that RHS, being a full depth plate. Just wrapping up, if there is any other questions regarding our trailers, please feel free to give us a call. We're always happy to talk to people on the phone or email. Also, our new website has a lot of updated information and frequently asked questions on it as well. So yeah, please feel free to contact us in any of those avenues, and we look forward to talking to you.